Welcome to Insert Art. I'm Alicia, and today I am all alone in the studio today. So I'm going to be painting a classic character portrait in my own signature style. And I'm going to be doing it on our brand new piece of tech, which is this HUION'S Kamvas Studio 24. HUION has generously given us this absolute beast, which is a standalone computer and a drawing tablet all in one. So I really want to put it to the test and see what I can do with it. So today I'm going to be drawing a medieval king from the medieval Renaissance world of Lucivera. Now you may have seen one of our previous videos where we create an animatic for this world, but if you haven't, have no fear, I'm going to tell you what it's all about. So basically myself, Jazza and Dave, who is also in the studio, are working together to create a medieval fantasy Renaissance inspired world or kingdom called Lucivera. And in this world we've got many different classes of characters. But today I'm going to be focusing on the pompous king of the kingdom. So let's get started. Now I've already completed some concept sketches of these characters, so I'm just going to take the one that I have of the king and start from there. This means that I can skip the sketching phase and jump straight into painting, which is my favorite part anyway. So starting off with some very simple base colors, I know I really wanted to convey the royalty of this character, so I went in with some super royal purples and blues to give it a really extravagant sort of look. I imagine that these would be the most difficult dyes to create, or the most expensive dyes to buy in this world, so naturally only the richest would be able to wear purple and blue. And already the Kamvas Studio 24 makes it look absolutely incredible, but because it has 99% sRGB color gamut coverage, which means a wide range of colors can be displayed super accurately and super vibrantly. With the shading, I did kind of struggle with which way to go with, considering that this king has a lot of really cool colors, but is also being lit by this very warm environment. I really did not know whether to go for cool shadows or warm shadows. I felt like warm shadows kind of made it look dull, but then cool shadows kind of made it too separate from the background. So it took me a while to sort of get the hang of it. I decided to leave his hair white, as if he was wearing one of those 17th century wigs rather than his natural hair. I would imagine that this class is very, very proud of their appearance and very, very pompous. So I imagine that they wouldn't go anywhere in public without a perfectly curled and perfectly oiled wig. I think keeping that nice white color also helped not overwhelm the character with too many colors. I've already got reds, blues, purples and golds. I think adding more brown would have sort of not really fit the character as well. Now once I had gotten the basic colors and shading locked in, I actually switched pens. The Kamvas Studio 24 comes with two different pens, one being a more standard, thicker sort of pen, which is great for working in big areas, but the one I switched to is actually a slimmer version of that pen. It works just as well, but it is more suited for finer details because then the size doesn't get away of your vision. It also feels so much more like a traditional pen or paintbrush, so I really appreciated working with the two different sizes of pen. Now before I go any further with this piece, I want to tell you a little bit more about this computer that I'm using. So the HUION'S Kamvas Studio 24 is a standalone workstation, meaning that it's both a pen display and a computer all in one, which makes it perfect for the working artist, editor, or even gamer. Of course, it has stunning graphics and great specs, but its best quality is its portability, meaning that it's easy to take wherever you need. So let's see how many places I can take it. Now at this stage of the day, I needed to do a little bit of admin, like answering emails, talking to the other insert artists, scheduling videos, things like that. So I took the Kamvas Studio 24 to my other desk where I could concentrate a little bit better. And of course I had to have lunch at some point today, and what's better than some lunchtime entertainment? I didn't even have to take my mouse, I just used the touchscreen feature. Then I wanted to show Dave the progress of my artwork, and because it comes with two pens, we could all contribute to the artwork. You've got a regular pen and a slim pen, both battery free, which allow you to choose what is most comfortable for you and what best suits your needs. HUION's new PenTech 3.0 Plus pen technology offers an exceptional pen on screen experience with improved accuracy and reduced lag. I can't believe how traditional these two digital pens feel, and they are definitely becoming my favorite tools to use in the studio. And perhaps my favorite part is it comes with this anti-touch glove, which are these really cool art gloves that only cover like the last 2 fingers of your hand and just helps your hand glide so much smoother over the surface. If you want to find out more, you can go to the HUION website or click the link below. As you can see, this character needed a lot of work done to his face because it was just a concept sketch. It was super rough. I barely even had the eyes blocked out. So I took this slimmer pen and I started to sort of shape the face a little bit. Usually my sketches are much more refined than this, especially for portraits. So it did take me a long time to sort of paint everything in without that initial sketch layer being super defined. I wanted to give him a really shiny, sort of slimy kind of look, as if perhaps he's been sweating a little bit from wearing all of these puffs and frills, or maybe that's just the medieval style of makeup that they use that is particularly oily. I just feel like it suited his character very well, so I made sure to add lots of little highlights across the face, like on his forehead, under the eyes, and around the nose area. I also added this sheen to the hair to give it a really slick, shiny feel. I imagine that they would oil their wigs to make it look extra shiny. Now, as you may notice, I spent most of my time on this commission working on the face and the hair and the crown, all because these are the most important parts of the character. These are the areas that your eye is drawn to first, and they're the most significant parts of the image. His expression and his crown really both convey this sense of royalty and pretentiousness that I thought was really important to this character. One rule that I tend to use with art is to always start with the most important parts first and to always give them the most detail. And then the other areas of the painting can kind of just blend away into the background and look pretty rough and underdone. And this will help you guide your audience's eye to the right places. Now, one thing that I also wanted to add to invoke that sort of sense of royalty is to make every single piece of fabric that he's wearing into a really nice velvety, silky sort of texture. I feel like these are the most lavish sorts of fabric, the ones that have a little bit of shine and a little bit of reflection to them. So I made sure to have some really dark darks and really light lights to get a really strong sense of contrast and to make it look shinier. I gave this character a really nice blue rim light just to sort of separate him from the background and tie in with those blues of his clothes. One tip that I have for you guys today is about painting the color white. Believe it or not, white and black and gray tend to be the most difficult colors to paint with when you're doing a colored portrait. So my instinct would be to just go with a grey colour or a white colour, but that tends to look a little bit dull and stony to me. It often makes my portraits look very muddy as well. So if you take a closer look at my whites in this character portrait, you'll notice they're actually more of a beige colour. In the hair, you can notice a beige or white for the lighter tones and the mid-tones, but a more like reddish colour for the shadows, but also this blue colour just gets thrown in there as well. And I imagine this colour will be bounced from his collar and from his hat and from the feather to give it this like blue ambient sort of light. You'll also notice in the fur that the shadow is more of a purpley sort of beige colour to make it feel a little bit more cohesive with the whole piece. Even in the face, which is actually quite pale, I add some yellows and greens to the forehead and the chin, and then more pink blushy colours for the nose and the cheeks and the lips. And just this little bit of colour variation helps give the whites of this image a whole lot of character. I imagine that the fashion trend of this time would be to have really pale faces. So I imagine this king sort of powders his face every morning with a very white, chalky foundation. Even adding a mole to this character kind of makes him look a little bit more pompous. There's just something about adding a mole, which you know is probably fake. I'm not sure what it is, but I feel like it was a fashion trend around this time. So this is my final artwork. Let me know if you think this king is good or evil. There's kind of a moral grey area in the world of Lucha Vera, where all characters have a good and a bad side. So let me know what kind of things you think this king gets up to. I can totally see him like looking out of his window, like looking down at the peasants below and feeling so much better than them. And obviously a huge thank you for HUION for letting us play with this Kamvas Studio 24. It was absolutely amazing. I loved it. Honestly, it ran so smoothly and was so intuitive that I hardly even noticed that I totally switched computers. The fact that it can keep up with high quality art and like intensive programs is so important. So absolutely do check out this awesome piece of tech. It is so cool. And last but not least, a huge thank you to our wonderful patrons. I actually just filmed a masterclass this morning where I got to look at our patrons' art and give them critique and encouragement and just see where they're at in their art process. But that is only available to the highest tier of Patreon, which is our master tier. If you're more interested in tutorials or if you want access to our more exclusive Discord channels, definitely consider becoming a lower tier of Patreon. We would still appreciate it so much. So that's all from me. See you guys in the next one. Inside out.